I don't know, it's pretty crazy.
There was a reel that was like, why bother doing this because of this? So like, why bother wearing yoga pants and working out because there's all these chemicals in yoga pants and like everything you try to do good also has like something in the way.
Right.
That's life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nothing perfect.
You do what you can, you have a good attitude, and as much as you can, just say your mantras and your prayers for everything that you do, and you feel like it's nourishing you, and it does change it, you know. I'm just trying to, the view, when I review some of these videos, I'm like, wow, that is an angle that nobody should have.
Right
Not
under your
that it
chin.
matters. I showed my daughter, yes, Lucy, my 15-year-old, and she's like, whoa, mom. I'm like, thanks. Thanks.
My 4-year-old looked at my hands the other day and he goes, looks like he was getting old. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, your hands. And I was like, because of my veins? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, because my mom has like really veiny hands. I was like, do they look like divas? And he's like, yeah. And I was
Oh,
like, okay.
They noticed those.
It was so cute though.
I know. I kind of like the aging hands. I don't know.
Well, mine have a lot of
Good
veins.
morning.
Mine is in my feet. I have a lot of
Yeah.
veins. Yeah. They never have trouble finding a vein for blood.
Yeah.
My son used to tell me that when he used to hold my hand when we were walking, he would play with my veins.
Oh.
I wish you hadn't told me that, even though you're all grown up now.
That's a big
comfort.
That's a comfort.
Yeah, I remember my mom's thinking.
My granddaughter, this is going back a few years, because she's now a teenager. But I said, oh, we have the same color hair. And she goes, well, yeah, that's right. You fit that little gray. I'm like, do I have gray? Because I just went to the picture. Yeah, that's some gray.
Oh.
Yeah,
They're so honest.
especially toddlers,
Yeah.
no holding barred. My granddaughters came down to visit and I lived with my mom and she's driving down and she tells her father, we're going to visit old Nanny and she's really old. She's like Nanny. And then there's Neil, and Nana's not so old because she can play with me, but old Nanny can't play with me.
Oh.
And then Nanny's only 70, which is her other grandmother. Old Nanny is 87.
Oh.
I
But
said,
they knew.
well, yeah, they're not the same age, but yeah, she has a whole perception of, because my mother doesn't usually get out of the rocking.
Yeah.
So she knows old Nanny's not gonna
Oh.
she'll interact with her, but she doesn't get up and run around.
Right, right.
Silly games. Yeah.
Well, here we are. Thanks for being here this morning. On this kind of cloudy day. Would have been easier to stay in bed, but just kidding. The birds, they've been chirping at 4 a.m. Do you hear them?
Really.
I love it.
Yeah, I know, I do too. Like, I always tell Juliet, I'm like, did you hear the birds? Those are the babies. And the mom says, not yet. The worms aren't out yet. Right, exactly. So today we're gonna work through our 9-part purification breath. We did that on Monday, but it's okay if you weren't here on Monday. I will explain what we're doing. We'll bring in the different aspects of that breath. And yeah, we'll talk, we'll meditate, and we'll have our morning together. How did you both feel after you left on Monday? Yeah. Good. Good. Definitely. Yep. I know. And I love the way that like the organic conversation that comes from all of it. It's nice. Well, let's close our eyes and just get into the space. Take some slow, deep breaths. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And I'm just going to show you what I'll be explaining because there's a little bit of movement with this breath because we guide the energy. So it's alternate nostril breathing, and I'll bring you through a visual because there's our channels, right? We have our central channel that runs in front of the spine, and then two kind of minor, they're not really minor, but two channels that run alongside, but the central channel is the biggest one energetically. So alternate nostril breathing, when we block the nostril, it's very gentle, right? Just take your index finger. We use our index fingers for this one. Gentle blocking of the nostril. And then when we inhale, the energy runs sort of around the sinus cavity, right? So it arches over the eyebrow, it comes down, and then that channel, one is on the right side next to the central channel or next to the spine. It comes down, so 4 finger widths below the navel. So if you find your navel, you can go ahead and do it so you have sort of a visual there. Find your navel, and then 4 finger widths below that is the point that we bring that energy to. And that's called our vase, where we can begin to build this energy that we're creating through the breath. And that energy is part of our vitality, you know, where we can shift our consciousness, it can shift our health. There's a lot of benefits to bringing awareness to that vase, and you can imagine that you're storing some of the energy there. And I always say, as women, this was taught in my training, as women, we don't have to try quite as hard as men because we have a womb. So men have to, like, actually, when they do these practices, really visualize a vase and creating that, but we have this natural space there, which is why they say women are slightly more enlightened in this version of life right here. Anyway, I always love that one. I'm like, I'll take it if I don't have to do, you know, the least amount of work that I have to do to feel a certain way is good. Anyway, so yeah, we block, we inhale, we draw down. When the energy comes to that point below the navel, we hold the breath. It rises up the other side. Then we block off the other nostril and we exhale. And we're literally using our index fingers to guide this energy. Okay. So we'll do a few rounds of that. Then I'll bring in some other imagery around that. And then we'll talk about it because some of it is visualizing actual images of the animals that are associated with the channels. And then there's qualities that are associated with the channel. So that can be our points of contemplation as we move into some meditation after. So you can go ahead and close your eyes again. If you need to look at me at any time, if you feel like you're confused, then obviously feel free. And you can actually do this breath work and meditation with your eyes open. That's pretty common practice with this type of work, is having your eyes slightly open, you know, where it's comfortable. You work to stabilize the eyes. We'll do our meditation like that later, so you can get a feel for that. So it's okay to open your eyes during it. And if you do open your eyes, it's just gentle, right? Gently open your eyes. You're gazing, finding a focal point, a gentle focal point. And then if you feel like closing your eyes again, you close your eyes. You know, that's all.
Yeah,
So you can-
just
yeah.
briefly review. So we're going to.
I'm going to explain all of it when we do it. I just wanted to show you. So it's always just
Inhale,
this.
Exhale, inhale to the left, exhale to the right.
I'll explain. Yeah, we actually start with the right, but I'm going to guide you through it. I just wanted you to see that we're literally using our index fingers to guide the movements. Yep. So we'll use both. Okay. So we'll close the eyes again, or just a gentle gaze. We're sitting up nice and tall, but not so rigid. We want to feel flexibility in the spine. So it's a strong spine, and then relaxed muscles around the spine. That's meditation posture, if you can imagine that. There's a lot of ways that you can visualize this. My teacher always used to say, imagine right at the center of your chest, right at the heart chakra, there's a string that pulls straight up, right? That kind of lifts the heart, lets the shoulders drop back. And then there's also a string from the very crown of your head that pulls you up. So if you have those two strings pulling straight up toward the sky, kind of sets the spine in the right spot. And this is your meditation posture, which can be a little uncomfortable holding over time, but you do build up those muscles to be able to sit for longer periods of time. And then there's the legs. Obviously, if you're not used to sitting like this, your legs will fall asleep. When you start to feel, if and when you start to feel your legs falling asleep, if it matters to you to build a capacity for this posture, then I recommend taking a few breaths with the awareness that your legs are getting uncomfortable and falling asleep, and then slowly shift. So that way you can bring sensation back, let the blood flow to the legs, right? And then it's the same thing. You sit there, you start to feel that sensation again, you hold it, take a few breaths. And so every time you do that, you're building your capacity to sit longer and longer. And we'll come back. So also as we sit here, we can just have our hands this time around. We'll grow on this, we'll build on this over time and practice. But for today, we're going to sit with our palms facing up in the lap. And if it's comfortable for you to stack your hands, you would have your right hand on top of your left hand with the palms up, and maybe the thumbs gently touch. So see what feels right for you. And if your eyes are closed, they are just gently closed. And we'll take some time here to allow the eyes to settle. I know sometimes when we first close the eyes, they can feel a little wiggly, like they want to open or they're fluttering. And that's all okay. Even if they don't get still, they continue to flutter. That's okay. And hopefully you noticed the beautiful full moon last night. And we can bring that imagery, whatever full moon you remember, even if you didn't get a chance to glance at it last night, that light of the full moon is how we want to imagine our physical body as we sit here. So at first, we might really feel our bodies. You might feel the heaviness of the body with all of its bones and organs and blood and cells and the whole thing that makes us a physical being. And then as we bring in that imagery, whether you're visualizing or sensing, depending on what kind of person you are, as you bring in that imagery of the light of a full moon, that soft, beautiful light, kind of luminescent, that filling your body, giving yourself the opportunity to feel lighter and to let go a little bit of the heaviness of the physical body, of the bones and the organs and the blood. And we become this light being, this Vajra, this diamond being, this indestructible being, which is our true nature. And anytime we attempt these practices, there's a gentleness that we have with ourselves. If there's confusion or it's your mind is really racing, just be gentle with yourself. Don't force anything. Awareness is the key really to everything. You're just aware of how you're feeling, and if some of this works, it works, and if not, there's always going to be a next time. And maybe that full moon light starts to radiate a little bit outside of the outline of your body. And above your head, you can imagine a Buddha. And the same radiance within that Buddha, now it surrounds you, circling around you. Creating a mandala around you, the sphere. And this is our reminder that when we do these practices, we're asking for enlightened body, speech, and mind, or enlightened body, speech, heart. And use the breath to purify, to be able to tap into that, right? To surrender to that flow of enlightened body, speech, and mind. So thoughts, words, and actions have more awareness around them. With awareness, we're able to notice how we feel and want to react to things. And essentially, eventually, we recognize that we have a choice, right? And then that's the essence of our internal peace that eventually can't be disturbed, right? It's always there, no matter what is happening, no matter how much we're balancing. There's always an undercurrent of peace or joy or happiness, whatever you want to name it. So this full moon illuminated luminous being that you are right now. You're sitting in that energy, feeling lighter. And we'll move into our breath. So taking your left index finger and gently blocking the left nostril. We take the right index finger and we trace the energy as we inhale. It's around, arches over the eyebrow, inhaling down the right channel, tucking under that point below the navel. We hold the breath with the index finger. We guide the energy as it rises up the left side. When it comes all the way up, we block the right nostril. When we exhale out the left side. Inhale through the left side, same outline around the nasal cavity, down the channel, tuck under the navel where we hold the breath as the energy rises up the right side, blocking left, exhale right. Good, inhale through the right side. Good, guide the energy down, tuck under the navel, it rises up the left side. Blocking right, exhale left. Good, inhale left. Holding as it rises up the right. Blocking left, exhale right. Good, now both index fingers, we inhale through both nostrils, tracing the channels on either side of the central channel. It comes down, tucks under the navel, rises up the central channel where we exhale out through both sides. And then we come back, block the left, inhale right. Comes down, tucks under, rises up the left side. We block right, exhale left. Inhale left. Hold as it rises. Block left, exhale right. Both sides, inhale. It comes down, tucks under, hold as it rises up the central channel, we exhale. Good, block left, inhale right. Let it rise up the left. Block right, exhale left. Inhale left. Hold as it rises up the right. Block left, exhale right. Both sides, we inhale. It tucks under, we let it rise. Exhale. One more round, block left, inhale right. Let it rise. Block right, exhale left. Inhale left. Hold below the navel, let it rise up. Block left, exhale right. Both sides, inhale. And tuck under and hold as it rises up the central channel, we exhale. Good, come back to your seated posture. That same visual. Illuminated, luminous. A rainbow kind of prism, Vajra meaning diamond, indestructible. That's the energy we connect with here. Allowing ease to permeate your being. And we'll stay in this mode and move back to our purification breath, adding a little more visualization. So we're going to block the left nostril, inhale through the right side, this time imagining red smoke coming through, clearing that channel. We hold underneath, it rises up the left side, it's still clearing. We block the right, exhale left, exhaling red smoke. Inhale, left side, white smoke, it comes down. Tucks under, we hold the breath as it rises up the right side. Blocking left, exhale right, white smoke, purifying. Inhale through both sides, blue smoke comes down both the side channels. Tucks under where we hold, it rises up the central channel where we exhale, blue smoke. Good, block left, inhale right, red. Let it rise. Block right, exhale left, red smoke. Inhale left, white. Good, let it rise. Block left, exhale right, white smoke. Inhale through both sides, blue. Let it rise. Exhale, blue smoke. Good, block left, inhale right, red. Let it rise. Block right, exhale left, red smoke. Inhale left, white. Let it rise. Block left, exhale right, white smoke. Inhale both sides, blue. Hold as it rises and we exhale, blue smoke. Good, come back to your posture. And the right side is the solar side. Left side is the lunar side. So masculine, feminine, middle, central channel is neutral. So as we move through another round of this breath, we're gonna bring in one more visual, and then the last time that we do it, so we'll do 3 more rounds with this new addition. And then we'll do 3 more rounds with the purifying breath of the prism or the rainbow energy. So when you're ready, we'll block left. We're gonna imagine red, but this time also the image of a snake, right? So we're gathering up anger and aversion, right? As we inhale, anger and aversion that we might be holding on to. And you imagine you're clearing these channels. It rises up the left side. We block right, exhale left. So red smoke, snake, that anger, aversion. When you're ready, we inhale left. It's white. We're imagining a pig, ignorance, delusion, gathering that up. Let it rise. When you're ready, block left, exhale right, white to purify with the imagery of a pig. Both sides. Inhale. Bring it down. Good. This is our aversion. We gather it. Anything we have an aversion to. And also the image of a rooster rises up the central channel. Exhale, blue smoke. We release our aversion to anything. Aversion and judgment. Inhale right, blocking left, red. The image of a pig, we're gathering. Let it rise up as we release our delusion. Inhale left, white. Let it rise up, anger. We're releasing, exhale right. Inhale, blue. Both nostrils, we hold. Let it rise. Aversion, we release that. Block left, inhale right, red, snake, anger, aversion. We're purifying that. Let it rise up the left side. Hold right, exhale left, release through that red smoke. Inhale, left side, white, pig. Let it rise up. Delusion. Block left, exhale right, white smoke, let go. Ignorance. Good. Inhale through both sides. Aversion and judgment, we're gathering that up to release it. Hold below the navel, let it rise up the central channel. We exhale, releasing aversion, ignorance. Come back to your seated posture. Your luminous, illuminated, full moon body, feeling lighter. Last round, last 3 rounds. The 9-part breath. We'll imagine that rainbow prism, beautiful light flowing through, continuing to purify. And anger, delusion, ignorance, aversion. So blocking left, inhale right, that beautiful rainbow light pours in. Holding at the navel, let it rise up. Hold and blocking right, exhale left. See it flowing out. Good, inhale left, rainbow light. Let it rise up the right side. Block left, exhale right. Both sides, inhale. Let it rise up. Bringing balance, exhale. Good, block left, inhale right, rainbow light comes in, down, tucks under, rises up the left side, blocking right, exhale left. Inhale left, rainbow light. Let it rise, block left, exhale right. Both sides. Rainbow light, let it rise up. Last one, block left, inhale right. Holding as it rises. Block right, exhale left. Inhale left. Holding as it rises. Block left, exhale right. Both sides, inhale, rainbow light. Let it rise. Exhale. Back to your posture. The visual, your luminous being. As you sit here in this pure state, maybe you just want to bask in the pure state. Or maybe it feels natural to bring in the quality of love or peace. It's combined with that, the strength, the indestructible true nature of your energy. And that's what allows us to bring this into action, right? Enlightened body, speech, and mind. We'll dissolve the image of the Buddha above our heads into our hearts. We'll send some metta, some loving kindness out. You can repeat out loud, you can repeat silently. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering.
Yeah, beings be free from suffering and causes.
May all beings know joy and the causes of joy.
May beings know joy.
May all beings have enough food, shelter, water.
Beings have enough food, shelter, water.
May all beings know love and kindness.
May all beings know love.
with a sort of lightness around it. We come back to healing our bodies. Right, and all that they physically contain, but we share that simultaneous awareness of the luminous body. Feels right for you, you can open your eyes. I know sometimes it's nice to sit there for a little while. The extra light feeling today. That the 9-part purification breath can be pretty profound, you know, if it's the first time you've done it, even if it's not the first time you've done it. I feel like the visual around lightening up, you know, and imagining your energetic body can be so powerful. And like we talked about on Monday, it's like comforting, right? To rest there and to feel, for me, when I come out of it, like right now, I feel really like light and aware of like every single little tingle in my body. And when I first started to feel that a long time ago with these practices, it kind of felt a little scary to me because I was so used to always feeling the heaviness of life. So when I would feel the lightness, I'm like, what is this? You know, like I would want to like snap out of it, you know, and then I started to realize that this is like part of our true nature and that it's okay, you know, to feel this way too, because everything is still there, you know. But the identification with the heavy stuff was stronger for a long time. And then that it's like a merging, I think. I mean, I would love to hear how you feel right now, but just, you know, sharing my thoughts about this is that there's like a merging that happens of both, right? Where we have really that true awareness of the ability, you know, I can't talk about it enough, to have that. I've been thinking about you a lot, right, since Monday, and to always have that, the undercurrent of peace within us, right? We talked about it last week a little bit. We called it happiness. That undercurrent, it can always be there. And the practices help us to maintain that peace, right? That's what my wish was for you as you like moved through the day and even this week, right? It's like that, not to let someone disturb your peace and the action of everything that you needed to do with your kids, right? To make sure that, and then the letting go. It's like all those components of the development of awareness that peace or happiness or joy, whatever the word is the undercurrent of our life, right? As we just felt when we connected to that energy. Then the things that we don't control, the external circumstances that kind of we've learned to like sort of allow that to impact our lives so much, where we start to identify with and we forget about the undercurrent and the letting go, right? Instead of clinging to the things that we think we can control, which create more of those life. So you see the cycle, right? Life circumstances. So if you think about it, right, there's the undercurrent. This is beautiful, like imagery around that, the undercurrent, that flow that's always there that we can drop into. and then the letting go, and then all the stuff in between is life that we don't really control. You know, some of it, obviously we make choices constantly, but the outcomes and all that, we don't always have control. We hardly ever have control over. So there's that, right? So it's like, how do you move around that and even through it? And just always come back to realize it's like the earth and the sky and then everything that exists in between. That's kind of, everything is so symbolic in our life of that. So how do you feel after doing that? I would love to hear anything about the breathing, about the imagery, the qualities that we brought in. Some of that, it's pretty strong, right? The anger, the delusion, the ignorance, the aversion.
Feel very warm.
Warm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Generated heat.
yes. Did you feel like gradually
Yeah.
generating?
I noticed that first my face felt warm, and then it just seemed to radiate down. through
Yeah.
The tops of my thighs.
Yeah, and that's the subtle energy, right? So when we work with the channels, it's affecting the chakras, the nadis, right? 7 chakras, 72,000 nadis and 32 meridians. So there's a lot that, and then that affects our physical body, right? This is the actual physical healing part to it as well. I like that.
It just feels nice to be able to like sit and meditate. Cause that's something that I've always like struggled with. People be like, just meditate. And I'm like, can't. So
Yeah.
I'm adjusted it. Like it's
Right.
not that easy.
It's like something
So-
telling you to calm down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Way to get
Yeah.
to not calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just nice to like actually like be in my body and on a different energetic level.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. The power of collective meditation. First of all, you have no choice because you're here, right? But I think when you're with a group that's on the same wavelength, that it just makes it that much easier to like meditate.
At first my brain starts to like check things off, like I gotta do this, and then I'm like, just shut off. Okay.
Well, you like put that over there.
Yeah.
It can keep on checking off and you can be doing the, yeah,
I feel like things I've been doing in my life, like with my husband, by myself, with my husband, like that, I'm seeing the exact same things here. Like we're talking about that I'm trying to do for myself. So
No.
it's just nice. So like, I
Validation.
know I'm on the right path. I know
Yep.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
good.
But I did not, when you saw me, I don't know if I can do that for an hour. Like I do meditate every day usually, but an hour, I was like, I don't know. And then I just woke up at 6 on Monday and I was like, well, guess I'll go. And I'll try.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I did. I mean, I can't come again until Friday and then after vacating the summer, because I'm a teacher. And I have to be at work by 8:15.
Yeah.
But it'll be nice. You do the recording.
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So that's, I plan to do those.
Yeah. Awesome.
Definitely tomorrow, because I have a big test tomorrow.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Alright.
I love the alternating nostrils, like, cause that's come up sometimes in like yoga classes and stuff, just to start. And it's just like, it's crazy, like I feel like I'm breathing fully, like
Yeah.
no matter how much like of a deep breath you take in and a deep breath out, it's like something about going like one nostril, then the other, and then you breathe through both, and you're like, that's what it feels like to like breathe. Like it's just so crazy, like the sensation of that alone, like sends like that first time taking a breath through both nostrils after switching it off. It's just like the whole body just like tingles and I'm like, ooh, do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
There
I'm
it is.
I'm
There's
alive.
my light.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. So
Yeah.
any sort of meditation where it has the alternating nostrils, it just feels like, I mean, just deeper. I don't know if it's just my awareness of myself and it's like helping to block out the rest because I'm thinking about, okay, left, right.
Yeah.
Or just kind of like taking blockage out because
Yeah.
you're kind of focusing on that one side, but it's just like, oh, it's so amazing. to
That's
me. I
all
love it.
that. That's like pratyahara in yoga is
Mhm.
withdraw the senses. So you're not blocking anything out, but you withdraw to that concentration.
Mhm.
So when we concentrate, it is comforting but it's hard to do on our own, right? To like concentrate, but when you have guidance and you're doing it as a group, then you can get into it and really feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, I really struggle to meditate alone. I always have, but anytime it's in a community, I do much better, feel much better.
Yeah.
But and a part of it, I think, is the community too. Everybody, the collective doing the same thing, the
Yeah.
same goals. And I think, okay, it's time to do my morning meditation, I get all anxious.
Even when you're listening to like the Chili's, like, so Kathy's in the 200-hour yoga teacher training.
And I love them.
So that's meditation.
I know, I listen
Yeah.
to that all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't think of, I guess, I don't think of that as.
If you sit and listen to it, I
So,
guess if
yeah,
it's
I
just
have to-
playing in the background, then not,
No, but
yeah,
if you s- okay.
yeah. Yeah, there's so many ways, right? Like mindfulness in and of itself is just bringing that awareness into every single thing you do in life. So maybe you do that a few times a day, you know, like Thich Nhat Hanh talks about just regular daily chores where you become aware, like you have to go to the bathroom, right? A few, at least a few times a day. So that's always a good little reminder of like, I'm going to bring, it seems weird, but like, that's something that is pretty consistent in your life. Bringing awareness to that activity, right? To like every single motion you're going through during that time, instead of being on your phone, you know, because we all know we bring them into the bathroom too. Put it down and then be like, all right, and now I'm gonna grab the toilet, like just every little thing that's present moment. You know, that's what you hear so much of, is living in the present moment. It's literally being aware of the present moment and everything that's happening. Washing dishes, you know, like when we wash dishes, oftentimes we're thinking about something else, either what we have to do next or we're daydreaming. And I mean, daydreaming is great too. It has its place for sure. But we might also use that time when we're washing dishes to, it's balance, listen to a podcast or watch something or whatever. There's always these distractions constantly. And then when we do sit to meditate, we wonder why it's hard. It's because we're like distracted, thinking way, you know, ahead or thinking about the past, and being in the present moment is not a regular practice. So that's why it's hard to sit and meditate, because our mind, it's like, you know, getting the ball rolling, right? Our minds are just, how do you get that to slow down? Once it's going downhill, it's like, how do you get it to stop, right? You have to level the ground and come into that place of equanimity. That's a, you know, word that gets used a lot in Buddhism and in yoga in different ways. But that place of equanimity is that undercurrent, right? The place of peace that exists within us all the time. So the cool thing that for me with these practices is like, it might not be, when things happen in my life, I might not have a perfect, well, I definitely don't have a perfect reaction, or being proactive with it all the time, but I definitely come back to my undercurrent much, much faster than I ever have, you know, and that is definitely because I have focused on doing these practices for a long time. We talked about the other day too, like our natural qualities, like that we were born with. We tend toward certain things, like I tend toward anger. I don't know if anybody else is fiery in here. I think you said that you do. Do you know what you tend toward? Like, what's your reaction? Some people cry, some people shut down, some people are angry, you know, like defensive, right? Yeah.
That's
Okay.
fire.
Yep, that's a big one. Same, right? I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
anger, defensiveness can
Yeah.
be, yeah. So having that awareness that it's happening is huge. Oh my God. If you have that, you know, however long it takes, it's like when you first start practicing it, for me, when I first started to practice it, it might take, and depending on what the situation is, still, I've learned, but it might take like a day, or longer. It's definitely has taken longer in the past for me to become aware of what's happening and then come back to my practice or that undercurrent of, the awareness that this is how I'm feeling. It doesn't necessarily mean this is who I am, right? And that there is peace, there is what's happening, and then there is the surrender, right? And of course, mixed in with all that, depending on what it is, it's communication, which is hard, and all those lovely things that make up life. But it's the opening, right? Like it's the heart. I always say in my practice, when I'm in that Vajra energy state, I bring in love. And that's what I work toward, keeping my heart open in the challenging times instead of closing down. Because we're gonna feel pain either way, right? So in my mind, it's like, might as well keep on opening and see what happens to move through these situations with an open heart instead of closing down. And then you can have, years more of therapy, which is your life. But working to keep the heart open, that's kind of my practice of this awareness of my reactions to things, right? But so the practices help us come back to that awareness sooner, so the pendulum doesn't swing so far, right?
That's what's really different for me now too, because like with all those antics that we were talking about on Monday with my ex-husband, it would be like a month that I would just stonewall him and be like, don't even look at me, don't talk to me, don't.
Yep.
But now I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm just good.
yeah,
Like I get over it so much faster than before,
yep.
which is wild to me.
Well, and I feel like when you came in Monday, you were having like such a deep awareness of your reaction, which can
Mhm.
also be like unsettling, right? When you're in that and you're like, I'm so mad.
But I
And-
got so mad.
I'm so mad that I got so mad, right? That's funny that becomes the new dilemma
Yeah.
with these practices.
No,
But it's also like, then the gentle, like the gentle care for ourselves, like it's okay.
Mm.
Like, how would you treat someone else that was in that you cared about? You would say it's okay that you're feeling this way, and to take some deep breaths into it and go into it and let it transform or transmute or dissolve or whatever the heck it's going to do. Impermanence, right? It's going to change. It's going to change. And here we are, Wednesday, and it has changed,
Yeah.
probably changed on Monday.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if they're flying back or driving back yet.
All right,
If
all
they're
right.
Driving back, that's start. I don't know when that starts actually, but if they're flying, it's tomorrow. So
Okay, all
we'll
right.
see.
Yep. We'll see what wave comes with
We'll
that,
see,
right?
yeah.
But it doesn't have to be a tidal wave.
Yeah, it'll be different this time.
And not just for you, right? But forever, like it doesn't always have to be a tidal wave. It can just be a wave, and the wave rides on the whole entire ocean, right? And that's our piece, the whole ocean. And then there's waves, right? But it's all part of the whole, and it doesn't destroy the beauty of the entire body of water. It just is that wave, right? So many metaphors of how it all works. And then it's just sitting down to do whatever form, you sit down to do the meditation, or maybe you don't sit, it's a walking meditation, it's a listening to whatever mantra you like and trying to focus on the words for the whole time. That's meditation. Anything that brings you to concentration, that one point, then you feel like you go into that state. It's so cool when you do it in a group because it happens so fast. We're all just like there. And the qualities of that, the 9-part breath, right? Those are all the things that I'll read them off exactly what they are. Really, I need to remember my glasses. Anger and aversion, desire and attachment, ignorance, and delusion. Right? Those qualities alone. And when we begin to, in our lives, be aware that that's happening, because it happens all the time, right? And in major ways and subtle ways that we have these qualities. And then we purify those we have to do the breath all the time, right? We could just live in that purification breath. But when we purify, when we do the 9-part purification breath, then we bring awareness that they even exist in the body. And for me, it feels so good to have that moment of release, like right now, especially when you bring in the metta, right? Where may everyone be free from suffering and the causes of suffering and all those like verses of that. It feels so like I really mean it when I'm in that state, right? Like you can feel like, because sometimes you're like, when you really start to sing, may all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering, you're like, are you sure? Right. But even like, do you really want all beings to be free from suffering? But when you're in that state, you're like, yeah, you do. Because if they were, there would be no more suffering, lofty goal, but we are the contributors of that essence, like there's millions of people that do metta. And now when we do it together, we add to that. So it is bringing balance, really, even like on a global level. I know that it's hard to see and feel that sometimes, but going back to what we talked about last week, that can be your contribution in a world where oftentimes you feel helpless. And then you have, it connects you with your undercurrent of peace. So it's so personal, but it's also like global. How can you feel peaceful all the time? And it's not like I'm peaceful all the time. You know that it exists within you all the time, right? No matter what is happening. And that you have that to go back to drop back into the current. So yeah, the anger, the aversion, the desire, the attachment, the ignorance, the delusion. Releasing those over and over and over and over and over again. That's just a human experience. So, right. So then to be aware, to release that it's huge for your own body to feel, even toward yourself. It doesn't always have to be external. I mean, more importantly, towards yourself, to release those, the anger, the aversion, the ignorance, all that towards yourself, the ways that we treat ourselves mentally. Because you're waking up in the morning, having some thoughts that aren't that kind toward yourself. We all do. And then we do the trying part where we look in the mirror and I really do love you. Or whatever it is, I'm gonna love myself today. And then so I feel like the cool thing about the practice is that it happens naturally versus like the forcing, the trying. My teacher would say the shoulding all over yourself. I should be doing this. I should feel this way, right? So it kind of takes out the trying when you just do the practices, then it naturally arises. And you can feel even just neutral about yourself is pretty fantastic. Right? Maybe we elevate it to that love. So yeah, I mean, you'll have the recording. I definitely recommend bringing this breath in and sharing it, if you get comfortable with doing it, share it with people, because that's what it's really meant for, is to be shared with as many people as possible. All this stuff for anyone that's willing to listen.
Mhm.
Not with people that aren't willing to listen. Remember that rule. Don't do it. It's not worth it. We get excited. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I
It's
think
not
we've
just
talked.
you.
Okay. We get excited about this stuff.
Did you want everyone to feel like as good as you feel?
Yeah.
Right?
And you're like, it's so easy.
easy.
All you have to do is this 9-part breath. And they're like, what do you mean?
All you have to do is breathe.
Yeah, I do breathe, right? All right, well, may we go in peace today, everyone. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.